One of the many deadly sins is gluttony. It owes overindulgence. It's all about overengaging in an activity, overextending yourself, overdoing it, whatever it is. And we need to recognize where we need to cut it back, where we need to place limitations on ourselves, where we need to rein in negative habit patterns and behaviors that are overindulgent, that are unnecessary, that are not helpful for our spiritual growth and journey in this lifetime. This is going to become the focus under the Sun in a square aspect with Jupiter on September 12th. I'm going to talk about this aspect and the other astrological events that will be occurring on September 12th and 13th of 2024. Let's begin with talking about the energy of September 12th. So this brings about the Sun square Jupiter can bring about a sense of confidence that we have for ourselves. Like we can go up to the Baton Rouge and eat all the rice and the meatballs that we possibly can. That we can fly up to jet sea legs and go to the motion picture of our life. This is about also having a very, very strong sense of pride. What is happening? Interconnectedness. That's what's happening. Because when we're interconnected, we become less indulgent, which is very, very interesting and a very key point to note. We need to be aware of becoming too egotistical, too cocky, or too proud, where that can be vanity in unhealthy ways, where that can be self-centeredness. This can also bring up the feeling of joy as well. We can feel more joyful, loving our life more. We can feel more upbeat about the state of our life. We can feel more, elated with the state of our life. This brings about also, it brings about a greater sense of optimism. That's what this is. It's really having the foresight to see into the future and going, I see that tree. I want to cut it down. I see that mountain. I want to climb up to the top of it. I see that ridge. I want to hit the ridge. It's sort of this um, feeling of hope that we have about life, that things can actually work out for our benefit, that things can actually work out very well. This is a time to express our enthusiasm for life, if we have enthusiasm for our life. In my life, I am too far gone from that at this point. I could be innocent in talking about these energies, really relating to it, but I have done time after time again of negative thing after negative thing that has put me in a crispy critter state of being, a numb state of being, a sad and depressed state of being. That the enthusiasm for life right now in my life is incredibly distorted, but it may not be that way for you. And so I'm making this video for you. I'm going to be pulling my own oracle cards. I'm going to be working with the energies that I reveal to it. This video is for you. This video is for the people who, unlike me, have not necessarily tainted their reality in ways that I have. And I'm sure that we all do that. I'm sure that we all give away things that we think that we don't need and later we regret giving them away. But the difference is that those things are tangible things in the physical reality. They're not videos on the internet. They're not online articles that you can go back to whenever you want to and be reminded of that feeling that comes about when you revisit those things. That's the difference here. So all of the guilt that I have been feeling is based off of the online stuff, videos, channels, certain individuals that I binge watched and ruined and spoiled, and more guilt. I could go through the whole guilt. But anyway, talking about it for your sake, this is a time where it talks about expressing your enthusiasm for life. And so the key thing here is to moderate yourself, to not do too much of one thing, to not eat too much of one thing, to not run too long at the boot smacking, to not turn on that light and leave it on too much, to not study too much into that thing, to cut it back, to moderate yourself, to rein in anything negative, because too much of a good thing turns into a bad thing. So, moderating yourself, not overspending too much, because otherwise you could turn Christmas into an everyday ordeal that becomes tiresome and that becomes old and stale. If we had Christmas every single day of the year, it wouldn't be so special. And so, what do you need to cut back on in your life? Whatever it is, now's the time to cut back on that. For me, it's watching too many YouTube videos and consuming a little bit too much sugar. And so, this is about getting too caught up in the ego when it comes to going after your goals, getting too caught up in what your ego wants and not listening to your inner guide, not listening to what your soul wants, what your soul yearns for to go after your goals. The moon in the sign of Capricorn is going to trine Mercury in Virgo. So this is a productive time to really dot your I's, cross your T's, strategize. This is a time where you might see things more clearly. You might have greater clarity when it comes to seeing things in your life. This is about intuition and emotion that balances with your rational side of your mind. So your intuition and your emotions and your feelings are balanced with your sense of logic. That's a really, really big piece of this. So you can make good sound judgment, and your decision-making skills can be right up to the Baton Rouge good. This is also a wonderful energy for socializing with family and friends. And so this is a time where you might perceive what others communicate. It really, really affects you at a deep internal level. So thinking about what others say and how it affects you inside. This is great for any kind of socializing or social events as well. The moon will oppose Mars. So the moon's in Capricorn, Mars is in early Cancer. So this can create impulsivity, like I need to act an impulse, I need to do things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do it. And go up to the letter mailbox thing and put that letter of gold and red into it. Put that orange dot up in the sky and really impulsively push it down. This may be a time where aggression may rise to the forefront, where you're feeling more aggressive, you want to push, you want to elbow, you want to get what you want to get, you want to have what you want, and you might throw a fit about it if you don't get what you want. So it's important to be mindful of not getting what you want in the form of what you want, and not getting what you want may make you feel like a child who does not get the candy that he or she wants, that doesn't get the video games that he or she wants. Um, so this anger and this continually pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, when it comes to not getting what you want, you may feel the strong need to fight for what you want. If you're not careful, you could run into accidents. You're more accident prone at this time. So make sure you're paying attention to the sidewalk and that there's not cracks in the sidewalk where your wheels can get stuck in that and you can cause it to fall. Because every single time I fell, it's because of cracks in the sidewalk that I didn't see. You could feel more irritable at this time, like little things can tick you off. That can be something to this. Relationships could suffer because of your impulsive need to act and your aggressive instincts. So your aggression may harm your relationships. So be careful that you're not being too aggressive with the people in your relationships, that you're not being overly assertive. This creates a feeling of feeling really feeling a strong urge to have your desires fulfilled. That's what this can come down to. Is really feeling that strong urge to have your desires fulfilled. This is about considering the needs and welfare of others. That's what this is ultimately about. Considering the feelings of others, considering the genuine swines of others, considering the journal books of others. This is what it is about. This can also create fight or flight responses. Don't disregard others' needs and remains level-headed. That's key here, is to remain grounded at this time. The final aspect going on here is that the moon in Capricorn will square the north node in Aries and the south node in Libra. So this T-square can create instincts pointing you to not so good directions. Your instincts are pointing you or veering you off course from where you need to go. You know, you're on the Titanic, and instead of heading to where you need to go in order to be safe, you're heading towards um a pack of ice, an iceberg. And you're heading that iceberg. And I had a dream about the Titanic last night, funny enough. And what the fear of that entailed. So your instincts could be veering you off course, pointing you in a bad direction. You may feel unclear about what path you should take and what goals that you need to set and go after. That may be something with this. You may be pulled in many different directions all at once, not knowing which direction is the direction that you need to go toward. It's important to discern between what is your fear and your shadow and your insecurities versus what is your intuition telling you, because at this time, you can get these things confused. And so it's important to be aware of that. And so it's important to take the responsibility to give life to your new life path, to give life to what needs life to give life to what can nourish the soil and what can bring you fruit and labor, and to what can bring you the peaches and the ham and the pickles. Really putting your focus on your responsibilities that can give life to your life path. There may be also difficult relationships with women at this time, particularly with your mom. For example, I feel a very, very strong feeling like my mom touched my oracle cards the other day. And so I need to remember that in reality, my oracle cards were not touched. And so that may bring about conflict at this time, because little things might bring about conflict with women figures in your life. So with that being said, knowing that it's all fine, knowing that the cards are untouched, despite the feeling as if they are touched, this may bring about anxiety and fear when it comes to these types of matters. This is a time to study anything of the occult topic: astrology, tarot, runes, Reiki, pensions, occultism, whatever is in the occult topics. So moving on to the oracle card that I pulled for this particular day. The card that I pulled is an animal spirit of Avalon. Basically, I'm using the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle by Colin Baron Reid, the very, very first Oracle deck that she ever got. And I got the bee, as you can see right here. And hopefully you can see the card, the bee. It says as the keywords luck, industriousness, and sweet victory. The bee, as you can see, isn't that a pretty picture? So this is a time to work hard. And no, I'm not going to ever touch my original channel again. This is the time to work hard and commit to what you need to when it comes to building your dreams. Whatever, if you have a dream, if you have an idea, if you have a goal, now's the time to put in the effort from it. Because when you put in the effort, when you put in the work, you will get sweet results when you do the work to achieve what your destiny point is. So you're putting in the effort, you're creating your own luck at this time. This is what it's about, is you putting in the effort and creating your own luck. So if there's any goal that you have, now's the time to manifest it. We're going to move on to September 13th now. So the very, very first aspect going on is that we have the moon in Capricorn sextiling Saturn in Pisces. So this brings about more maturity at this time. This can make you feel more responsible for your home and family life. This is about placing your responsibility and placing your attention on your home and family life. This is a time to be more dependable to others. And it's about having common sense, having a strong sense of logic, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, common sense. I know I should go this thing. I know I should move my hands in this certain way. I know I should communicate this thing. I know I should go to this place, do this thing. It's sort of a well-rounded, in the mind, intellectual intelligence that can come about with this. And so you may also have a strong sense of your intuition. This is about caring for others in practical ways. This is what this is about, caring for, doing acts of service to another. Cooking a meal, mowing the lawn, fixing a blind, fixing a clay pottery, putting up, installing an outlet cord into the house. Whatever is practical. Doing the laundry for somebody else. Doing these practical acts of service can really do wonderful things for people. And this is a time to establish more stability and security in your life. The moon will also square Venus. So when the moon is squaring Venus, we can feel more moody at this time. We can feel more self-indulgent to engage in the things that bring us pleasure because Venus is a benefic planet. Venus is the pleasure center. That's all about, if I do this thing, I'm going to feel this way. If I engage in sugar, I'm going to feel so good. If I engage in smelling flowers, I'm going to feel beautiful. These kind of different things that bring us joy, that at this time we're overindulging in those things. So at this time we seek pleasure from activities that gives us joy. Activities that bring us fulfillment and joy. This is the time to maintain peace in your relationships, to develop peace and harmony in your relationships. Relationships could suffer from you being disloyal or the other person being disloyal. So it's important to address any disloyalty in relationships if that's showing up for you at this time. This can be about self-indulgence and laziness, not, wanting to pick up the pieces and put in the hard work to do something, instead doing things that bring you joy and pleasure. This is about not making impulsive decisions. This is about not being complacent, or and finding ways of getting motivated to do the mundane practical responsibilities that you have to attend to on the 3D plane of existence. Because we have work to do on the practical level that we can't just put aside because Venus is squaring the moon. We need to find ways of engaging in the joy in order to then engage in what brings us joy, getting that desire fulfilled. Then we have the focus and motivation and the energy put aside for us to engage in the activities that we need to engage in. The sun will also trine the moon. So this is about you're feeling contentment in your home life, basically. You're feeling like your home and family life is more peaceful. This is about deepening your relationships. Deepening your relationships with especially family. Especially deepening those relationships with family. Um, so it's a good time for improving your relationships with family and friends. You may also feel an eagerness to nurture and take care of others. This is about shining in the spotlight at home that gives you confidence. You being the center stage and center piece of attention in your home that brings you a little bit of oomph, that brings you a little bit of an energetic boost, a self-confidence boost, feeling a greater sense of self-worth also of your home and family environment. Like I can engage in my homely environment in this way. This is about feeling hopeful and also playful, playing with children, engaging with children at this time, um, and feeling a greater sense of optimism in general. The second card that I pulled this is the card that I pulled for September 13th. The card is forgiveness, as you can see here, forgiveness. So at this time, what you want to do or consider doing is you want to reach inside your heart and you want to search inside your heart for any unresolved matter, for any unresolved situation or issue. You want to put an ends meet to it. You want to resolve it. You want to tie up the loose ends of it at this time. So searching for what's unresolved. This is about releasing negative energy when it comes to if you're hurt or if you've been wronged in the past, if you've been betrayed in the past, or whatever it is. This is about releasing the negative energy when it comes to situations and people and circumstances that hurt you in some way that you find it hard to forgive. Feeling resentment and anger are powerful and strong negative emotions that can bind you up into getting fixated on the negative situations in your life, where you're associating with the events that cause you suffering, and you're getting so in the weeds of that that you're not seeing the higher perspective of it, that you're not seeing from a higher vantage point. So this is the time to forgive the people that you need to forgive, to release any past hurts or wounds from those people, or forgive yourself for all the things that you did wrong in the past. And that's challenging to do. That's very, very challenging, especially if you fixate on things like I fixate on things, because letting go and shifting my focus is a challenge and is something that I'm working on right now. So what is the work that you need to do on yourself when it comes to releasing and forgiving yourself with all the things that you have done that led you up to the shattered life that you view today? This is about knowing that you're not broken, knowing that you don't need to be fixed, knowing that you're just fine as you are with all that you did makes you the person into who you are today, the good and the bad. And so this is about recognizing that, recognizing what you've done making you who you are at this present time, for good or and for bad. And so, um, when you forgive yourself and other people, you find a much greater sense of freedom, liberation, and peace for yourself and others. It's about you and letting go and moving on from what in the past you feel wrong or you feel hurt about. And it is challenging, but it's about making micro steps at a time. It's about making these small incremental steps towards forgiveness, the smallest things, recognizing that at the time you didn't know any better and you did the best you could with the person that you were and you made the best decision that you could at the time. And that's it in its entirety. And, I'm preaching to the choir at this point. So I'm going to stop preaching to the choir. So that's all that I have for you. I hope that you found this video helpful and important and special. And if you did, please comment down below what you are most looking forward to during these couple of days. And do subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos from me. Okay, everybody, I'll see you in the next video.